We are from Polytechnic of Milano, and this is our project, the village system. Starting from the task request, we ask ourselves 2 questions. 1, how to represent Dubai cultural heritage in the project, and 2, how to create a sustainable residential solution in Dubai. Then we wonder if the current architectural and urbanistic model of Dubai of today was really the best way to look at for our project, or there could be an alternative model. Basically, the current model we can see in Dubai is just a reproposal of the Western high glazed tower, and this is made possible just because of the massive air conditioning system and the consequent energy consumption. In general, this is never a great way to build sustainable anywhere, and this building configuration forces people to stay inside the building and inside the private houses, and not instead on a public external floor, ground floor. Thus, we refer to the ancient Arab city and how people could live in these areas of extreme climatic conditions before the widespread of the air conditioning system. As we can see, Medina open spaces and streets are narrow, and the nearness of buildings allows shadowing, so the pedestrian mobility is encouraged this way. About our proposal, this is our master plan in which we try to translate dimensions and proportion and what we consider as the most interesting features of these pre-model settlements and architectural complex. As you can see, our master plan is ruled by a modular system based on the reproposition of the octagonal shape on a grid. And this modularity creates a series of squares and streets in which it's great to spend time too, walking around, meet people, and in order to create this vibrant community, we really take care of. We decided to deviate the creek inside of the village in order to make it part of the landscape of the project. And it has also a positive effect on the climate comfort of the surroundings. The external spaces are shadowed by the buildings, velarium, and folding gates of the commercial activities of the ground floor. The octagonal buildings are characterized by the presence of an internal patio, such as many of the references of the tradition, which is more private, albeit common space for the inhabitants. In our master plan, there is also an international school that aims to create a sense of community among the expats families that will come to live in here. And moreover, there are spaces for artistic production on the ground floor of the octagons, in order to host artists and manifestation, always creating this sense of community and vibrant community, cultural community. So we focused on the public spaces. In particular, the waterfront mediates the contact between the walkways and the creek. It is stair-shaped in order to allow people to get near the water despite the level of the tide.
All our public squares are individually designed, each one with a unique configuration and a peculiar choice of vegetation based on the climate of Dubai. Squares are also characterized by the presence of those which remind of the memory of Al-Jadaf, the former shipyard. In that way, our aim is to characterize in a different way each space, avoiding the disorientating effect that could be present in modular master plan like ours. Sometimes our ground floor are empty, some other times have atelier, and some other times have shops. When they are empty, our aim is to create space for people in which they can rest, they can meet each other, living outside the house and creating the vibrant community we wanted to create. At the upper floor, we have the apartment, and on the roof, we have another important space, which is the common terrace in which people can cook, play, and celebrate and party together. This space is also really important because it avoids to have direct sunlight exposition on the apartment's roof, and it works also as a big interspace in order to reduce the heat gains from the roofing. We have 3 types of dwellings, one for a couple, one for a family, and one atelier with the residence of the artist. All our apartments are designed to have double-facing openings so that people can enjoy the cooler temperature and the breeze from the creek when it's possible. Well, the openings have Mashrebia folding system. The creek is also useful to our energy production system because we use it as a heat exchanger for the operation of the heat pumps. The system is centralized and it works thanks to the PV panel on the roofs of every octagon. The system is partialized to avoid energy waste in case of reduced or limited occupancy of the apartments. Eventually, our project respects the standards given by the task, and it is also an active complex because the PV panels on the roofs produce more of the requested energy of our complex itself. Thank you.